Welcome to the Nothing Much Just Chillin' Show with your hosts Emma and Esmé.
Esmé. Oh, I thought we were just going Esmé.
Oh, it should be like with your hosts Esmé and Emavo. Nothing much just chillin' show. Nothing much just chillin'. Yeah. Amazing.
Welcome to the Nothing Much Just Chillin' Show with your hosts Emma and Julio. Nothing much just chillin' show. Nothing much just a chillin'.
Welcome back to NMJC, aka Nothing Much Just Chillin'. I'm Emma, and today we have a very special guest. We have Esmé on the podcast today. She hasn't been on in a while, and this is her first time on for season 2, so I'm very excited to have her here today.
And I'm excited to be here.
Wait, what happened to your... Why do you have a Band-Aid?
I burnt my finger trying to microwave something. So that's my cooking
Trying
abilities.
to microwave something?
That's where I'm at cooking ability-wise.
What were you trying to microwave?
Asparagus. I was trying to steam it.
Oh my god! And when you did you like go in the microwave and then
I like
and then hit
pulled
it?
the saran wrap off the top and the steam hit my finger. So then I went to Amazon and bought a pretty Band-Aid to make myself feel better about it.
It's a very pretty Band-Aid.
It's nice, right?
I didn't even notice it before. Like, honestly, before I was like, oh, that must be like another ring because you have so many. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe you just have a colorful ring. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, it's like an ombre, blue, green.
They have a lot of cute colors.
That's so amazing.
To like make up for how embarrassing that was.
That's a very, I feel like it's a very Libra thing to do.
Yeah, so that's
Get a
what I've
pretty
been up
Band-Aid.
to since I've been on here.
Okay, well, we're gonna start with what we've been up to specifically this year, right? Esmé came to my place today with a bunch of topics that
Locked
we can,
and loaded.
Yeah, she had a bunch of ideas of what we could talk about, so I'm very excited to dive into them. The first one was talking about what has happened in our lives this year so far, and then what we want to happen for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or just like upcoming plans and
upcoming
stuff.
plans, what we're hoping for.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
have a job.
I have a job.
That's what you've been doing.
You
work a lot.
I've been working a lot. I onboard some new clients, so that's been really fun getting to meet people.
She works for a like marketing, social media marketing company.
Yeah, and so I'm a contractor, and they contract me out to different. It could be any company, but we mostly focus on nonprofits, and most of them are in the East Coast. But the exciting thing is one of the new clients, they also have a West Coast office, so I've been able to actually make like in-person real friends with people, which is very fun.
No, that's so great. Like going to lunch with them.
Exactly.
And,
It's just
spending it face-to-face time with someone is really nice, especially when most of your job is working from home.
Exactly. So that's been, nice. I've been forced to wear like real clothes, not just sweatpants.
Right.
And because of work, I've been traveling a bit. I've flown to Sedona. I went to Arizona for the first time, which was lovely. And then Boston for the first time, which was also, I like Boston. It was cool.
Oh, yeah. And Julio and I just went to Boston for the
Yeah.
first time. We loved it. So, yeah.
It was really nice. I've been volunteering. So I volunteer at a local soup kitchen, and I go every Saturday. And I just love it. I've met the nicest, coolest people there, and including the volunteers and the guests we serve.
Yeah, Esmé's an angel. She's a real life angel to do that every single week. Like, I'm sure it's like, I'm sure obviously it's so rewarding and fulfilling, but it also can be hard because you run into a lot of things that like you may be unfamiliar with.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like heartbreaking moments of people that are no longer coming, which is sad, but also like it's very joyful. I get the most compliments there ever. Last week we had someone come, and his gift was that he would tell you looked like a celebrity, and he would call you that celebrity name, and they look nothing like you.
It's like, okay, Margot Robbie.
So, almost. So he came up to me, like we got a warning from a guy who was like, I want to see what he says about you because he calls me Vince Vaughn, and this guy looked nothing like Vince Vaughn.
Oh my God.
And so he walked up to me, he was like, Angelina Jolie. I'm like, yes.
Okay, but like true because you got the light eyes and the dark hair.
Well, that's nice.
So.
And then he's like, I'm trying to decide between Angelina Jolie and Cindy Crawford.
You're probably sitting there like, well, you can't go wrong.
I was like, I've heard a lot that I'm a mix of the two, actually. So you just feel fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking Angelina Jolie and Cindy Crawford.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I never leave feeling I'm always like on top of the world.
That's amazing.
So yeah, those have been like getting to see Emma and Julio. That's been nice. Even though they left me downtown, they abandoned me.
I'm so sorry. We miss downtown.
I know.
Obviously, we love it over here, but like there is a part of me. I think it's like the time period too. Like it was 3 years, 2 of them COVID years, and 3 of them like our mid-20s. Whereas like, oh, I'm so like nostalgic for that time period now. 'Cause,
Absolutely.
like even though I much rather prefer this apartment and this area that we live in.
Oh
like,
yeah.
I feel like we did a lot of like growing up there, living in a city, like living downtown. I feel like I have so much more confidence in myself when it
Yeah.
comes to like street smarts.
Absolutely. That's the way I feel about when I look back on. I lived in Irvine for a while because I went to UCI. And it's just a nostalgic part of my life, being at university at that time. And whenever I pass that, I feel a little homesick, even though I'm like, I don't think I would ever live there again.
Yeah.
There is a part of I miss it.
Yeah.
So, but besides that, shocking news, no relationship updates, guys. I know you've been holding your breath for that. Nothing new.
Yeah.
That's still
Dating. Have you re-downloaded any apps?
Yeah. So
Because she did delete them all.
Yeah,
right?
I did. That was a proud moment. That was like actually just because I was sad.
Yeah. You're like, I don't need this. I don't need this to fulfill my heart right now.
I'm like, I'm gonna meet someone normally.
There's nothing wrong with meeting somebody on an app.
No.
I think it's a great choice for somebody who's like, you know what, I've exhausted all my options and I'm not the most extroverted person. Like, it's okay to meet someone on an app. But I also think it's also okay to like approach somebody in person. Like if you're a person who likes going to coffee shops or bookstores, I'm saying like the most wholesome things right now because I know that like the people who like going to bars or clubs, you're probably not gonna find unless that is your personality that you like to go just go
Do things that you love.
go the places that you like to go to meet a person that is similar to you and it'll all work out.
Yes,
I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's not so it's like I'm open to it. There's been like a few things, but also I'm terrible with time management because I work so much right now. And so I do not have the time, especially for like in our day and age, like you have to start a lot with texting, and I just hate texting to start with.
Same.
And the fact that I'm busy with work too, I can really justify to myself why I'm bad at texting, which like sucks for the other person when you're trying to get to know them and they text you 2 days later like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So it's not fair to them. Maybe when I'm 40 and desperate, I'll come back and give you guys an update.
You don't need a man. You don't need anyone, really.
Amen.
Unless they're going to add to your life, and when that person is meant to come in is when they'll come in. So
I mean, I think that's the hard thing because I've been alone for a very long time. I'm not afraid of it.
you're really independent.
I'm independent. So for me, it's the idea of being with someone just so I'm not alone. It has no appeal to me. I've done that. I've hung out with people, and the whole time I'm like, I would so much rather be by myself right now, or with like my friends.
Yeah. Like you're not codependent.
Exactly. So for me, it's just like I don't have the fear of being like, oh, I can't spend another night alone because I'm like that sounds like heaven to me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. With De Niro.
Yeah, exactly. I already have one fucked up guy in my life, and that's my cat. I don't need another. So that's what's going on with me. How about you, Emma?
Oh my God. The first half of this year is like, I mean, it's really just been like moving into this apartment, I feel like is the big change. Like making the move from downtown to Santa Monica, I think has come with a lot of, besides like those 2 weeks that were like such hell moving in here and like how we didn't have like hot water and heat and like that old drama. That was a lot. But since then, we've really enjoyed being in this apartment and in this area. It's just super nice and peaceful, and I can walk anytime that I want. And that's been a blessing. Being able to walk to the beach is such an amazing thing that I'm not taking for granted. Like I do it like almost every day. But yeah, so it's been nice. The only trip that we've done this year so far has been to Boston for Boston Calling, and we recapped that in a couple of episodes ago. So that was, you guys know, it was really nice.
I love that episode. You guys should check it out. We'll link it below.
Yeah. 100%. Thank you. But yeah, but besides that, like the first half of the year, like I've been doing some temp jobs. I had a really, really amazing temp job in the beginning of the year that I had from January to March. And it was working at a design showroom, and it was just like helping the showroom manager get ready for like them moving out. So it was just a lot of like inventory and sorting fabrics, and it was all, I don't know, it was just really nice to have it just be like me and him, and we got along really well. And like he played,
you really liked him.
He played good music, and he was so chill, and like I had a clear direction every day of like what I was doing, which made the job so much more enjoyable, because it's always like even more boring, like because these are all like boring jobs where you do like tedious tasks. But it only becomes like really frustrating when the leadership doesn't know what they're doing, and they can't confidently say like what they need you to do, because like I'm there to help them.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There's a difference between having a boring task, which is like, okay, I'll just do this repetitive task and I can use my mind to think of creative ideas. I can preoccupied, and being bored because you're doing literally nothing.
Anyways, I am really excited now to keep on, have my weekly clients, and I'm just hoping to get more. Like I've had some maybe just not work out, or like they weren't the right client for me, but hopefully like more things come in, because I would really like to continue with like podcast editing, podcast clip editing, YouTube editing, that sort of like editing jobs, so that I can make that be like my full time, and have photo and video be like for fun creatively, and like sometimes for money.
And I think it would be such a gift for people for you to do this, because I feel like a lot of people at podcasts, because it's like something that's in high demand right now, so they just do it. But it's like very unique because you love doing it.
Yeah. I love doing it because I love podcasts, but it's not like my passion as like
Exactly.
photography and videography is. So I don't get like burnt out.
Yes.
Or like if I do like have a bad client, like I won't have like any like self-doubt over it. Like it's not like it's not so much of a part of me as just like something I'm like good at and like that I like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. What about you for the rest of the year?
I feel like this year has been so weird that it feels like it's been so extremely fast yet so extremely slow.
100%. I know exactly what you mean. I'm sure everybody can relate.
Yeah, and I feel like I say that almost every year, but been particular this year, and I don't know if it's because like I had 2 travel trips booked back to back, like one at the end of February and the one at the end of March, so I had that looking forward to, and then it felt like all that time leading up to it just made it go by faster. I don't know the psychology behind it.
No, totally.
For like personal growth goals, I think I've kind of put those all off for a bit, that I'm like, because another thing that's coming up for me is in October is my 28th birthday. And it's on a Friday this year, by the way. So
nice.
We're going to do something fun. And so I think for me, I'm like, any personal growth goals I have, I'm like, I'll make those like my 28-year-old goals. And I'm just going to let myself be a mess for the rest of my 27.
But that's so fair, Esmé. I support that. I was a mess when I was 27 and 28. Like, I feel like I'm just starting to like figure myself out.
Exactly.
And I mean, there's no timeline.
I think one goal I do want to work on before then, just because I want to read more. I think I'm spending way too much time online and watching TV. I'm
Totally.
like, that's one thing I do want to do.
I agree. I at the beginning of this last temp job that I had, where I was just working like the front desk, I read a whole book. I read Big Magic, and I did a podcast
I love
episode
Big
on
Magic.
it. But then the other book that I'm currently reading right now is just not a book that I would bring into a workplace to read. It's
Is
more
it
of a like
Hoover?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like I can't read that in a
Right.
workplace, so I just kind of like stopped reading it for a little bit. But I also would like to keep on reading, because when I was reading Big Magic, I'm like, oh my god, I love this book. Like,
Right.
it's the best book ever. Like, this is my new Bible.
Okay.
Or, this is my new Bible. I never had a Bible. This is my Bible.
This is it. So what about you? Any plans?
Well, obviously I'm going on Wednesday home for a week and a half. Oh, I'm shooting a wedding in September. I'm going to Palo Alto in August for a client. October, my parents are coming to visit, so I'm really excited about that, because they haven't visited in a while, and I just like want all my family to visit while we live here. I don't know how long we're gonna live here for, so like I really want them to visit during this year, because I think this area is so nice, and I think
It's so
everybody in my
nice.
family will really like it. Like the Brentwood Country Mart, like the fucking Christian Louboutin store that's like next to like the little cute post office there. Like I feel like my sister would love that.
Little book store
Yeah, it's
nearby.
just the cutest area in the world. In my opinion, like Montana Ave, Brentwood Country Mart, like this area of Santa Monica, this area of LA is like the cutest.
I've seen like since you've been here, like I guess 3 of your apartments, and now this is your 4th one I've seen you in. And out of the 4, like this is absolutely my favorite. I love this area. I love the way you've decorated it. I love the layout.
Thank you.
It's incredibly cute.
Yeah. Another topic that Esmé has brought to the table today, which is very relevant because we are 2 women, the importance of female friendships.
Yes. And also like kind of the ups and downs of female friendships.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, I think why people say like, oh, like girls are too much drama, a lot of it can be good because girls are more communicative usually, and like we'll talk about their feelings more, and like we'll bring up like when they're upset about something, so maybe sometimes that can cause more drama, where guys will be like, oh, guys aren't any drama, but like maybe they're like harboring stress, or like they're harboring
also,
like
guys can be some of the messiest bitches, you know. Like
exactly.
they have some of their own drama going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the reason too we believe that girls are more drama, like, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And one is like we often make like close female friendships when we're younger, because when we're younger we, you know, make friends with girls and boys make friends with boys. It's obviously we should all just be friends with whoever, but like that's how it kind of falls. And then so like we're all immature when we're younger. We all cause drama. We're all, you know,
Yes.
like
yeah.
I'm not like, and I was always perfect. Like I was like a messy.
Yeah, I was
bitch.
always a great female friend.
I was always the best. I never once talked behind a friend behind their back.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh my God. I've had so many instances where like I had an instance where a girl like heard me and my friends like talking shit about her behind her back.
Yeah.
And it was like I felt so bad, so awful, but it was just like sometimes girls just need to have like vent sessions or like talk shit about someone to other people to like be able to deal. Well, I guess in this case she wasn't actually like a real friend, she was just like a roommate to us, but whatever, besides the point.
I mean, yeah, we've all not been good friends in
Exactly.
our lives.
We've all talked shit about somebody. We've
all done things in friendships that we look back now and we're like, I wish I was a better friend.
Yeah, because you learn. Well, sometimes you learn from your mistakes. Other times it takes a while for people to learn, or you just like learn like who you like. That person was just not the right friend for you.
And it's not to say that there's no guys that have like emotional depth or you can't have good friendship with guys, because I know, for example, you've had a lot of really good close friendships with guys.
Yeah, I would say like throughout my life, like my closest friendships have been with guys, and that's not to say like, oh, like I don't like girls, like there's so much drama, but like I have had like a lot of girl friends in the past, and like we're saying, like everyone's very young, like I don't blame anybody like for what they did to me or like what they did that like made me upset. Like I really like hold no like grudges, but just in the past, like I've had a lot of like distrust for girls because I've had like some of my best friends like hook up with the people that I like. I had a crush on this guy like for most of my life, right? Like since I was like in 1st grade to like
one of those crushes,
10th grade. Yeah. And he was dating somebody. He was always dating somebody, but he was dating somebody at the time. And I had known from from girls gossiping to me, from girls on my soccer team gossiping to me about like them seeing him like at parties and stuff. And he's just cheating on his girlfriend. And I didn't know his girlfriend.
Right.
But like cheating on her like massively with like a lot of girls. And my best friend at the time, they had met somehow. And she was like, yeah, like I really want to hook up with him. I'm like, he has a girlfriend, so like you're contributing to this like messiness of a human, and then 2, I've been in love with him like my whole life. Like this, you're my best friend, like you should be able to like just not hook up with him. Like
there's
just
tons
restrain
of guys.
yourself. Like you have so many options. Like it was just like in my head I was like, there's an obvious like right and wrong here, but like am I just being manipulated, and her being just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess. But then she did it, and I'm like, I was so hurt by it, and I didn't register until later in life that I was like, damn, that was like a really fucked up thing
that was really
for her to
mean.
do. Which obviously like I don't hold a grudge against her for it, but it just kind of made me like think twice about like loyalties and friendships and like because that is really important to me, like having a loyalty in friendships. And I've had other friends also hook up with the guy that I like and like cheat on their boyfriends with the guy I like twice.
Okay, that's so weird. That's happened to you twice.
So yeah, it happened to me twice, and one of them like tried to deny it.
Okay.
And yeah, so and I'm like, oh, he told me, so like obviously like he knows that it would hurt me, so why would he lie to me about that when he told me like every detail? Like it was
that's weird.
It was massively fucked up. Again, like I don't really care about it anymore, but I'm just saying like that's why I'm like I don't like, because Julio and I are so close. So if somebody is close to me, a girl is close to me, she's gonna become close to Julio.
Yeah.
And I have to have people who I trust, because I don't trust a lot of girls.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. Yeah, I just have trust issues with girl friendships. So
I think it is always hard. I think that's why when I first became friends with you, I was insanely cautious. Like I would see Julio would like post a show and I wouldn't be able to go that night. So I would like respond like, oh, have a good show. And then I would text you immediately, be like, hey, just so you know, I responded to Julio's story and said,
I didn't even remember that.
And you were like, literally, Esmé, that's so fucking fun.
Yeah. Like that's so, I don't even remember that. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Because I was like, I don't want, and I understand too, because I've never been in a relationship. Shocking news. I've only talked about 100 times on podcasts.
That's okay. It's nice to normalize that, because it is so normal. Like there are a lot of people that, I mean, fucking like watching Love Island, like all these like insanely hot people, and they're like 26 and 27. They're like, I've never been in a relationship, and it's like, that's so fine.
Yeah.
Like it's so fun. It's
so I should go.
There's
on
no
Love
timeline.
Island.
There's no time. Yes. Mm-hmm. In your 28th year.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what's coming up for me. But I've absolutely heard stories of people who, you know, you think they're your close friend, and then, you know, something like that happens. And I've heard it like from, you know, guys too, but their guy friends about happening with it. So it's just, I guess you can never know people's motives, and that can be scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the problem for me when we talk about female friendships is so often when people say like, there's so much drama, it makes me sad, because I think female friendships, or not female, but women or trans women, whatever you identify with, just having that close kind of feminine energy, it's something that's so special. I think you're really missing out if you don't have that in your life. And even men not becoming friends with women because they think men and women can't be friends. I'm like, you're really missing out. And I've heard a lot of men talk about how isolating it is sometimes with being just around men. I actually saw this really interesting video by this trans man, and I wish I remembered his name, but I just saw on Twitter. But he was talking about how one of the hardest things about his transition so far is the fact that he didn't realize how alone he would feel, because he's making friends with men now, and it's so different than the friendships he had with women.
Oh.
And it was such an interesting, like, thought-provoking thing to me to think, oh, that would be so weird to switch from having predominantly women friends to predominantly men. And
it's like a whole different ball game.
Yeah, so that's what
Emotionally.
kind of really inspired this for me, because I was like, it's not just to be like, and you should have women friends and that would solve it. Like, it's obviously an issue with the patriarchy that we have to teach men how to express their feelings, how it's okay to be close. It's a huge system-wide thing. But if you're avoiding being friends with women because whether you're you know, man or woman, whatever, non-binary, it's just, you're missing out, I think.
I 100% think so too. I just saw like a TikTok clip of a podcast talking about how like the difference between when like women hang out and men hang out, and for women it's like face to face, like talking, like eye contact, and you're like having a heart to heart. You're being like, how are you? How you've been doing? And it's a very like honest and vulnerable like interaction.
Yeah.
But men hang out instead of like face to face. When men hang out, it's like shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
It's like, oh hey buddy, and like they're never actually like speaking. I mean, of course there are
not all men.
Not all men. Yeah.
Not all men.
Like some men will have like deeper conversations and stuff, but like most men, when they like hang out, it's like golfing or at a bar and stuff, sharing a drink, and it's
like,
just like this maybe like the surface level stuff. So,
and I think it's too bad that I know that's kind of the way we raise men, not to, you don't want to be too close to men because God forbid, you know, it goes to that homophobia. Like, God forbid you might be seen as gay if you open up to one of your guy friends.
Yeah. That's why, like, with all my guy friends throughout my life, like, I've really made an effort to have them, like, open up more to me, because I want to have, like, a deeper connection with all of my friends, whether they be men or women. Yeah. So it's interesting. It's just so obvious when a man has never been, like, asked something or, like, it's like, oh, whoa, that was deep, Emma. I'm like, oh, well, this is, like, kind of normal for me.
Or, like, something that's interesting too is men, or, you know, masculine presenting people will say that they don't get compliments. Like,
really?
Yeah, they're not used to getting compliments. Like, with girls, we'll see each other be like, oh my God, you look so pretty. Oh my God, I love your outfit.
Oh my God, you smell so good.
And you always say it to me, and it always makes me feel good.
Yeah, no, she does. If you all could smell Esme through the screen.
I always shower before I see you. So, yeah, they don't have that kind of, like, casual compliment. So when they receive them, they're just, like, so touched. I'm like, oh. Yeah. It makes me want to compliment men more. And then also, and then I hear something bad, and I'm like, ugh.
Well, it's the whole thing about, like, give someone their flowers before like their funeral, you know, like, sometimes men or any person will sometimes, like, wait until, like, somebody dies to open up and be like, oh, this person, like, did so much for me. It's like, there's nothing wrong with, like, saying that whenever you see them or whenever you talk about them in conversation, like, you know.
I know. However you identify, don't ever count out a specific gender or non-gender just because you're not familiar with them. Or, like, society-wise, you've been raised not to be friends with them. Like, I think being with friends with a variety of people is so important.
Yes. Yeah. Same. I agree. Okay. So Esme found this. Wait, where did you find it? Was it on Twitter?
So it was actually my first year of university. I took, like, a sociology class.
Oh, okay.
And they made 2 people in the class do it.
Like, in front of everybody?
2 strangers, yeah. And it's 36 questions, and you're supposed to do it with your partner. But I guess if you do it with a stranger as well, you're supposed to know by the end if you truly love each other or not, which is very intense for them to do. I volunteered because I'm like, fuck, if I can fall in love right now, that would save so much time.
Wait, so you did it?
No. Oh. I volunteered.
Oh, okay. But, like, did a lot of people volunteer? Yeah. Damn, I would have not. I would have not. Like, don't pick me.
The 36 questions to fall in love.
And this is, like, a scientific study.
It's a research study I learned about in sociology. So we're not going to do all 36, but I thought
we'll do a couple just to give a gist of, like, what it is, and maybe you can look it up by yourself and
decide if you and your partner are in love or not.
Yeah.
You're welcome, or I'm sorry. So there's 3 sets, so we could maybe do, like, 2 questions from each set.
Okay,
maybe?
yeah, let's do that.
How about let's start with really, would you like to be famous in what way?
Oh, I feel like it changes all the time, because sometimes I'm like, yes, I want to be famous, and what I want to be famous for is, like, my grace.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought you were going to say photography. That's so interesting.
Most likely I would be famous because of some sort of, like, art form, and that would probably be photography, or what I would like it to be. But what I would like more to be famous for, because there's a lot of famous photographers. There's a lot of popular photographers. I would like to be famous for being one with grace that, like, helps people see the beauty in themselves and, like, feel comfortable and good to work with.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But then sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to be in the public eye at all, but, you know, it goes in waves.
Yeah, I get that. I think for me, it happened in waves, but not, like, back and forth. Like, the first half of my life, I wanted to be an actress. And I'm like, I just want to be famous so bad. And then I spent time around actors. I'm like, oh, no, not all actors. Not all. Disclaimer, but a majority are not great. And then I think now, just when I see what fame has done to people and just knowing my anxiety levels, like, the few times I've had a tweet go viral, I've hated every single moment of it. It caused so much anxiety.
I totally get that.
And I'm like, I really don't think I can handle going out every day and people being like, she looks good, she looks bad, is she in a relationship, is she not?
Yeah, having people always discuss, like, personal details of your life, like, incredibly, like, private details of your life. Yeah, no.
And feeling like they're entitled to that because of that. It always blows my mind when, like, a person will break up who's famous and then people are like, we think we deserve an explanation because we support your relationship. I'm like, who the
You
fuck?
don't. I feel that.
Who do you think you are that you think you're like entitled to this information about these people? So I think that,
I agree. It's a hard position to be in.
you know, I think it's great that a lot of people thrive being famous, and a lot of people, you know, the Kardashians, obviously they're thriving.
Yeah.
But you
Kylie, I don't think I was meant to be, you know, when
like,
she says
girl,
that.
you're like a billionaire.
Yeah.
I think
I really, really think I'm not meant to be famous.
So
I think being rich is better than being famous. Is that what you're gonna say?
no, I wasn't, but I do agree with that. I would rather be rich
I would
than
rather
famous.
be rich than famous.
But I would say like Kylie, I actually, side note, I think she's like the smartest Kardashian in terms of not like intellect, but like, because I hate how people talk about the Kardashians like they're not smart.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're all incredibly smart, but I think out
They know what
business
they're
wise,
doing.
I don't agree with everything they do, but I think they are smart. And I think out of all of them, Kylie actually is the smartest businesswoman.
100%.
And I'm like, I think you are meant to be famous,
Mm-hmm.
actually. But if you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind of a 30-year-old or a body of a 30-year-old, which would you want and why?
I feel like I would choose the body because I would want the mind of somebody who's 90 and who's like
Ooh.
lived that life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd much rather have like a 30-year-old's body than a 30-year-old's mind. Thinking about like my mind in a year, like it's probably not fully formed. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like we were fully formed after 25, but like I just feel like I'll have so much more life experience and wisdom at 90. So I'd want to keep my 90-year-old mind.
Interesting.
You know?
I think I would actually choose a 30-year-old mind. But I think my experience comes from the fact that there's a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia in my family.
Same.
So-
but I'm vegan. Not to be like that's like a
It does help.
cheat, but like I do eat pretty healthy and like I'm vegan, so I would hope that like hopefully that doesn't happen to me.
They're definitely like exercising well. But yeah, I think that's why for me that was my first instinct.
To be like sharp.
yeah.
I totally get that.
So I definitely see your point of view though.
Yeah. Oh my god, so interesting.
Look at us. I think I'm in love with you.
Yeah. I think we complement each other so well.
So now we're on set 2.
Set 2, okay.
What is your most treasured memory?
My most treasured memory. Oh, okay. I need a second to think about this.
I can go while you're thinking.
Yeah. You go first.
I mean, I think it's hard. We all have memories that I'm like, I can't say like this is the most ever. One memory I really treasure is when I was 22 and I was in LA and I had not made a lot of friends, any friends in LA yet. And I was just becoming close with my coworkers at Tom's. And my birthday was coming up and I told one of my friends, Caroline, that I was like, I don't have anything to do on my birthday. And yeah, I guess I was turning 22. And she was like, well, that's stupid. We're taking you to Disneyland. And I was like, absolutely. Like, we can't all book off work because it was me, Caroline, Michael. There'll be 4 of us booking off work. And she's like, oh, I already did. And so they took me to Disneyland and we drank and it was one of the most
So
fun
special.
days. And they, surprised me with like a gluten-free brownie and they all sang me happy birthday. And we became so close that day. Yeah. And it was just, I think from like start to finish, one of the most fun days I've ever had. And so that's like very special to me too, because it was just people who saw that like I was feeling alone and they're like, you're not going to feel alone. And like, that felt very special to me.
That's so lovely. I love that so much. Oh my god, yeah. We should go to Disneyland this year.
Oh my God, we should.
We should do it because Julio and I keep on saying like we need to go to Disneyland.
Well,
And it's just so expensive, but like if it's in October, like we can save up for it.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it's fine.
Let's do it. Oh my
Let's
God,
do
for
it.
my birthday? Yeah.
Yeah, that Friday.
Fuck yeah.
Because on a Friday you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. You guys are invited.
We'll all meet there. We'll get a I fucking want one of those like Dole Whip things.
Oh my God, they're so good.
I want one so bad. So we had this assignment for Elon in LA where we had to do this like, I don't know, it was some project. And for it, I wanted to film my friend Harris painting. He was a really great artist. And so we went to like the top of some like hike mountain scenic view because I wanted to like film him painting the view or something. And it was just like a really hot day, not in like the best mood, but we were searching for a parking spot and we were like driving along Mulholland. And if anybody knows Mulholland, there's like no parking.
No.
Like it's like no parking signs anywhere. And like where there are parking lots, it's a very minimal parking. And so we're like driving up there, and Harris is just like, we're not going to get a spot. We're not going to get a spot. I was like, I'm really lucky. Like, don't worry, I'm really lucky. And then we found a spot like right away. And I was like, see, I told you, I'm lucky. And then so we did it, and whatever, it was fine. The next school day, we had in our acting class, our professor made us share like a touchstone at the start of each class, like something good that happened over the weekend or something like that we're grateful for, like a good memory from the week or whatever, like a touchstone. That's what he called it, I'm pretty sure. And Harris wasn't there yet. He got in late, and so when I went, Harris wasn't there, but I was like, Harris isn't here, but like I'm really happy that he helped me out with this project, like even though it was like kind of like unorganized and like whatever, it took us a while to find parking, but like I'm so grateful for him to do it with me, and like it was really nice, blah blah blah. And then Harris comes in, and then he gets up to do his touchstone, and he's just like one of the funniest people that like I've ever met. Like I miss him so much. But he started being like, yeah, so like Emma wanted me to do this project for her, and we were driving and we like couldn't find parking, and then she was like, don't worry, I'm lucky. And I was like, okay. He was like, okay, pretentious or like something like that. But then he goes, but that's not it. Like, Emma, the universe wants to give back to you and reward you for being such a good person, and that's why you're so lucky. My jaw just dropped, and I was like, oh my god. And everybody had like just seen me talk about Harris and like thanking him, so they were like, oh my god, this is so funny that they both had like a similar touchstone, and like that was cute as well. But the moment he said that, I was like, oh my god,
that's incredibly sweet.
It's really nice. So I really like to think back on that, and like yeah I miss him a lot, but we had a really good like friendship during that period of time, so
I love that.
Was nice.
And I would say another treasured memory, just I'm not gonna do much, but I would say definitely the first time we hung out.
Oh yeah, the first time we hung out was such a good time
because it was like an instant connection, and we just did everything we love doing to this day.
Yeah. Well, meeting each other too was like so like, oh my god, like,
I know.
Well, I was like, oh my god, because like I had followed Esmé on Twitter and Instagram, and been like, oh my god, like I love your social media, like, and you were like, wow, like let's be friends. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know that you lived so close.
Yeah, so that was definitely a treasured memory for me.
Yeah.
And that can kind of go into our next one, that it's what does friendship mean to you?
Ooh, it's just nice to have somebody that you can be like your full self around, and know that like they're not going to judge you for any of your quirks or any of your decisions, and they're just going to be there. I mean, of course, if your friend is like doing something like fucked up, but I think now I'm a better judge in people now, so that when I see somebody who's like kind of like I don't want to associate myself with, like I end that friendship, or like I just don't want to talk to them or hang out with them anymore. I feel like especially in the world we live in today, it's really important it's really important to me that I'm friends with people who are kind to everybody, because if you're just friends with somebody because they're nice to you and they're mean to other people, or they're not inclusive of other people, I just like don't really think that's worth it. I just don't really think that person is a good person, and having friends that are good people inspire me. And yeah, you're just able to have a connection that like a deeper connection that surpasses like political or like surface level things that like people in the world talk about. You're able to just like cut that because you already know you're on the same page, and allow yourself to go deeper with that person because you already have that front line of like respect and kindness, you know?
Absolutely. I would say my answer is very similar. I think growing up, I kind of have that idea where it's like you can have friends in different areas, and absolutely you can. I think for sure. But for me, like true friendship is very special that I've found, and I kind of make those connections sooner now because I seek people who are seeking that as well. People who are like holistic friendship. It's like everything. It's not like, oh, this is the friend I'll go to when I'm in a good mood. This is the friend who I'll go when I need something. This is the friend I'll go to when I don't feel like doing anything. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's that person that you can bring your best days, your worst days. Yeah. You can go out. You can spend hours just lying on the couch watching TikToks. Like, it's just having that person that's like, I don't have to change who I am around them, or I don't have to go with them for specific needs. It's just like we're both there together.
Yeah.
And no matter what, it's that.
It's like a mutual understanding.
Yeah.
Too. Like having somebody that you don't need to explain yourself to.
Exactly.
Is key. Yeah. In romantic relationships too.
Yes,
So.
that's true. And I think that it's kind of shows how like you have to be friends with your partner as well.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll end on 2 of these.
Okay.
If you're going to become a close friend with your partner or person, whoever you're doing this, please share what would be important for him or her to know about you.
Oh.
Or they to know about you. Outdated, this questionnaire.
What'd you say?
I said him or her or they. It's a little outdated.
Oh.
But that's
Didn't
fine.
give all the options.
Didn't give the options. We'll add it in.
Yeah.
So what's something for them important to know about you?
Do you have something? Do you want to go first?
Okay, I think so. I'm a very extroverted person when I'm out. And so when I'm around people and I'm very introverted or withdrawn, or whether that's just like socially I'm kind of drained, or if I'm not doing well mentally and I'm kind of down, it's not a reflection on them. It's or if I need time alone, it's not because I don't love them anymore. It's very much just because I need time to be myself. And I feel a lot of times I'm around people, if I'm not 100% like extrovert and happy like I am, they're like, what's wrong with you? Something's off with you. You're not being yourself. And nothing makes me more annoyed than someone telling me I'm not being myself.
Right. Totally.
It annoys me so much because I'm like, what way do I have to be for you to think I'm being myself?
Yeah.
And so they just need to know that being myself means I can be in a great mood. I can be withdrawn. Mm-hmm. I think that's important to know.
You're just realistically not always going to be like on all the time or like super extroverted all the time. Like even if you are an extrovert, you could have like a resting bitch face on, but like it has nothing to do with like the people you're with.
Oh,
I understand.
And I will talk through every movie and TV show we watch.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I will do that. And
yeah.
I know people hate that and I get it. And if you can't fuck with that, I respect that. But
yeah.
I can't.
I just won't invite you over if like there's something that I really don't want to be interrupted for. But if it's something like when we're together, when we like watch something, it's always like the stupidest fucking show or like movie. It's fun to like talk through. Yeah. But if there's something actually serious, I'd be like, Esmé, shut the fuck up.
And I would shut the fuck up. And that's important. And I think like I won't be the person that's like talking in a movie theater either. Or if someone's like, this is actually super important for me. But if we're just watching something I will talk through it and I will add my own comments. Like I'm a very funny person.
Yes.
So that's something I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Your turn.
Okay. Something I would like somebody to know is that they don't have to like explain themselves. Because I'm just like a really understanding person. Mm-hmm. I know I don't like to explain things to people, so if somebody asks me to do things, like I don't have to like come up with like a excuse why, like a paragraph, like why I don't want to do something, mm-hmm. or like why I can't, whatever. Like I never feel the need to like over explain myself because I just don't think it matters. Like everyone that I'm friends with, and I know you do this sometimes, where you're like, hi, like so sorry for like being MIA, but like in my mind I'm like, you weren't. The phone goes both ways. Every time I reach out to you, I'm not like, oh my God, Esmé, so sorry I've been MIA. I'm just like, hey, like want to hang out this day?
Yeah.
Because I know that like we're adults, like we have jobs, and even younger too. Like I think it makes things complicated or like easier to be friends with somebody if you're seeing somebody every day, or like every week you have a class with somebody, like, but that time is gone for us, you know what I mean? Like not to like sound old, but like that time's gone. Like we have responsibilities, priorities. Like I have a whole ass boyfriend. Like I have
a whole ass boyfriend.
I don't need somebody to like over apologize or over explain why they haven't reached out. And it's totally okay to like take your time if you are going through something like personally. And like I know when I'm going through something personally, like I do want to be alone, or like I do want to just like work it out by myself or chill. And it's nothing. It doesn't reflect on the love I have for that person. No. And I don't think that them being MIA or like canceling plans or anything, like I don't think that's like a reflection of how they feel about me. There maybe was a point in time like in my life where I like took that as like, oh my God, like that's so disrespectful. But now I'm like, whatever. Like I don't care. Like I'm so like chill about, that's another thing. I'm just like a very chill friend. Like you can come to me with anything, and you can't do anything to me, but like but I just,
you can't fuck the guy you're into.
Exactly. But I'm just very understanding of like where somebody is at in their life, because I've gone through so much myself.
Yeah. And I think that's something I've learned in our friendship, and I've applied to other friendships now, because I also think if you're in another relationship, I've stopped explaining myself now, because I think it's something you told me. It was like a really interesting thing that I was like texting you, and you were like, is this something we need to talk about? Like, am I doing something that makes you feel like it? And I had to be like, it's so true, because you're making that other person feel like they're guilting you when you do that. And it's not fair to them as well. And you should love them and respect them as much as a friend that trusts that they'll understand and they won't demand that.
Yeah.
And so it was an important lesson for me to learn that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like you don't owe anybody your time, and your friends shouldn't feel like your time is like owed to them.
Yeah. And if you're afraid to tell a friend like, hey, I can't hang out today, without fearing they're going to be mad, like you should look at your friendship at that point, or look in yourself. And that was a moment that I was like, oh, I'm projecting a lot of anxiety, and like that's work you have to do.
I was like, wait, what is going on?
I know. And that was like an important moment for me to be like, that's not fair.
Yeah, you're like, you're right. Like I shouldn't be freaking out about this.
And so I think that's very important. And the last question is, what's something you like about the other person?
Oh my God.
I know. I think it's very interesting previously when you're saying a friendship, important that they inspire you to do better. And I think that's something that's so unique to people, that even to your acquaintances, you inspire them to do better. And I think that's the type of person you are. And not even just the things you say to people, but how you live your life. I feel like just being in proximity to you has made me a better person. And it's made me more determined and courageous and stand up for myself. And those are all things that I've learned by watching you live your life. And
by the way, these are things that she's told me before. Yes. So this is not a situation where she's like waiting for a moment. Like she has said all these things to me before. I really appreciate it.
I probably write in her birthday card every year. Because every year I feel like, and I just see it in every life you touch. Like even just the clients you work with, like you're saying, like I hope to be, famous for my grace. And I think at least in the circle of everyone that meets you, you are already. You've achieved that.
That is so nice. I love you so much.
I love you.
Okay. Thing about Esmé is that she's one of the most, if not the most empathetic person I've ever met. Like just like from hearing you on this podcast, like you can just tell like how inclusive, like how she always is thinking about other people. I mean, I do think that maybe sometimes you need to think more about yourself, but she's always thinking about other people in a way where it's just so like pure. She always wants everybody to feel comfortable and loved, and like they matter. And that comes across. It's not even just like emotions, it's like actual actions, like her doing community service, her working with the Trevor Project, like her just doing things from such a selfless place. I know that people sometimes say like you can't, like there's no selfless act. Like isn't that like a thing on like Friends? Like, isn't there an episode like you can't do something, but like Esmé is like the definition of selfless. Like everything that she oh my God. That really inspires me, and I know like we get along in the way that we're like both like nice and empathetic and stuff, but just having a female friend that like is on that same wavelength. And when you meet people that are just like kind sometimes, and you don't know exactly like their life story, you can be like, oh, like that's weird that person is so it's kind, or like some people are like kind of taken aback if somebody's like really, really nice, but then when you get to know you're like, oh no, you're that way because you've gone through so much in your life that you never ever want somebody to feel invisible or bad about themselves, or that they don't have a purpose, or you just want everybody to feel like comfortable and have nice things too. Like you're a Libra, like all about like nice things, treat yourself. And that is, you're very inspiring to me too.
I love you. Thank you.
Are we in love? We're best friends in love.
I know. So this confirmed these 6 of the 36 questions.
We're meant to be.
I highly recommend you do this with your friends and loved ones.
Yeah. I'll link these questions
Yeah.
in the description below so you can do it with your partner or friends. So when Julio and I did our beige flags, Esmé was really, before she listened to the episode, she's like, oh my God, I've seen beige flags on Twitter. Like I really wanted
to know what theirs were.
Exactly. But then we kind of like failed that.
And like, by the way, Emma and I were quickly talking about this, and it's like beige flags is so hard to even define.
It's really hard
because like a lot of the kind of sweet quirky ones, I'm like, that is kind of a green flag anyway. So it's hard to find like a truly neutral one.
Yeah, or the one that you were telling me earlier, that's a red
okay,
flag.
really quickly, there's a girl who said like a beige flag was that if the waiters were taking too long in the kitchen, he would go into the kitchen and get their food and bring it to the table. I'm like, that's like the biggest fucking red flag I've ever heard.
That's psychotic.
If he left,
just ask when their food's gonna be ready. Just, you're doing too much. You know?
Yes. If I were on a date with a guy and he went up to do that, I would leave immediately. I'd be like, you're gonna come back to an empty table. It was fucking creepy.
Exactly.
But so I listened to the podcast and Julio tried his hardest, and I will agree, it's hard to think of a beige flag because there's so many great things at Emma. So I had to distill it down very hard. So
let's hear it.
The first one, and this is just, it's a beige flag. You don't like sparkling water.
I don't. I really don't.
And I guess that's just hard for me to understand.
Julio doesn't either, so we just like never have it like in our home. But Esmé loves sparkling water. It's a very European thing.
So yeah, I guess that's just like.
Is it like good for digestion or something? Like,
no,
I don't
it's
know.
worse.
You just love the.
It's worse for digestion because
you just love the taste. You love the bubbles.
Yeah, it's light and whimsical and refreshing.
And she loves La Croix. And I don't. Yeah,
and
I love like Olipop. Like I love like probiotic sodas, but like I love soda. But yeah, I like plain water.
Yeah. The next one is very much like not your fault too, because it's partly because I'm not involved in pop culture, so I'll always ask you about pop culture.
Oh my God, yeah, I have like a lot of internet niche
interests. So my favorite thing is that when you're explaining a niche interest to me, when you try to contextualize it for me, you'll go more and more niche sometimes. So you'll be like, so have you heard of the Stephen McSteven podcast? He was on the YouTube with Jessica. That's the GTG girl. I'm like, okay, no, I'm still out there. You're like, okay, so she was a model for Oliver McPherson, and he was best friends with Jerome before he left the Bad Boys Club. I'm like, oh yes, now I get it. You're like, anyway, so he committed manslaughter. And I'm like, oh, the fuck?
My little details in my storytelling. No, that gets so. I've been told my whole life, like that's fucking annoying. Like there's not.
I love it because I'm like, there's so many people I didn't know existed. My God.
Yeah, but I can see like you're like, okay, like in your mind you're probably like, I didn't know where you were going with the first sentence. Like I have no idea where we are. Like 10 sentences in.
It's hard for you because like I know like. I'm like such an old person online. I know like 10 people online. So unless you're like, it's Cody Co, I'm like, I'm out.
Which I introduced all my friends to Cody Co.
But anything I'm relevant on, it's because Emma introduced me to it. But it takes me, I just love it. You go more and more niche. I'm like, and this is getting further away from helping me understand who this person is.
That's hilarious.
So those were the two I could think of.
Okay. I have two for you. Okay, one of them is that, so the combination of you being a people pleaser and bad at math, you will like it probably helps more that like things are just like automatically, like you can see like how much you're tipping or whatever, but like you'll just like over tip because of that. It'll just be like, I don't want to deal with the math, and like I don't want to deal with the math, and I don't want to like not tip, so I'm just gonna tip 50%. Like
I just tip 50% every time. It's so true, and those are the two reasons why. It started when I was in grade 10, and we were like, I went out to lunch with a friend, and I got like a $40 bill, and I was just like, 20 sounds good for a tip, right? And I just never looked back.
Second beige flag is that when you are dating somebody and you like if they don't, like you'll overthink so much and they like won't have texted you back, or like, or you just feel a certain way towards this person, and then you'll just like impulsively block them.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be like saying it to, like, yeah, so like we were talking, but then yeah, he like didn't message me back, or like he said something I didn't like, or like I don't know, just like you felt this kind of way about them, and you're like, yeah, so I just blocked them. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so, it feels so extreme for like
By the way, it is, because I've had to go
also, and every time you say it to me, I'm just like, this is my reaction. I'm like, oh, okay, you blocked them, okay, like I get, and that's like the end of the story. That's like all you were like, they're dead to me.
Absolutely. And I still do that to this day. It's not healthy. I just get anxious seeing their name on my phone. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just block them. And then,
I'm done overthinking about this. I'm just gonna erase them.
and I went crawl back one time, and it was the most humiliating moment in my life because I couldn't admit that I deleted their number.
Yeah.
So I went through Bumble again. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm admitting this. I was like, oh my god, I left my phone in the sun and it completely fried and lost all my data.
The lying too.
Full on fucking lying. And I don't think they texted me back after that. And it was like the most humiliating, humbling moment of my life. And I have learned nothing from it. It's almost a red flag, I would say, but thank you for being generous and saying it's beige.
Hey, that's the thing with these beige flags. They could swing
Go either way.
They could
Some
swing either
men
way.
will think it's charming how psychotic I am, actually.
Exactly. They want a psycho girl.
Yeah, they're like, I'm so into a girl that's like really a pathological liar.
And impulsive. Will delete my number if like I say something wrong.
Oh, fuck, I know. That's so bad too. That's something I'll work on when I talk to you guys next.
Yeah. We're gonna work on ourselves.
Yeah. And when I come back in another 2 years, we're going to be fantastic.
Exactly. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today
Thank you for
on
having me.
NMJC. We love the mugs. Esme got us these mugs for a Christmas present one year. Look at us. NMJC, the NMJC in back.
And like
the
pink
branding.
nails, purple nails.
Oh my god. Wow,
blue Band-Aid.
we're so on brand right now.
We are.
I love it. Thank you for chilling with me this week. Thank you guys for
you.
chilling with us, and see you next time.
Nothing much, just chilling. That was me harmonizing.
That's amazing.
Thank
All right, bye guys.
Nothing much, just a chillin'.